My name's Kathryn Pensack. I'm with the Gray Panthers, and if you're not familiar with them, they've been around since the 70s. They were spearheaded by a firebrand named Maggie Kuhn, and it was not originally called the Gray Panthers. Their idea was age and youth together, and the idea was kind of a mentoring thing for older people and younger people to spearhead projects and social justice issues. Now, our chapter in Chicago is a small chapter. We meet every third Saturday at the Chicago Cultural Center, and we choose a topic, like an issue that we want to work on. And we chose some time ago to work on the TIF, the whole TIF project. I know you probably are fairly familiar with TIFs, but just briefly, what they are is a series of sections of the city that are divided off and set into TIF zones. Now in Chicago, about 1/3 of the city is now in TIF zones. And in these TIF zones, once the TIF is created, the taxes there, the real estate taxes, are frozen at the level of the day that it's created. And so that amount of money will go into the city budget, and any new taxes since then will go into the TIF budget. So this means that the city is no longer getting any new taxes from 1/3 of the city, which is about $500 million a year is going into the TIF budget. Now, for some time in the TIF budget, the mayor could pretty much use it, and the various aldermen any way they wanted, and there was very little oversight. And it was kind of a slush fund for whatever they wanted to do. And the projects are supposed to be run to raise the revenue of an area. So what they would do is, the idea was originally not such a bad idea. They were going to use TIF zones for really underdeveloped areas that needed new businesses and where there was a lot of blight. And actually, one of the ways to be designated as a TIF is to have a blighted area. Well, 1/3 of our city is not blighted. And the other thing that happens is when you become a TIF zone, you are a TIF zone for 25 years. So as you know, many times an area will be blighted even, but gets, developed, and as it gets developed, it no longer needs that much help in order to develop even more. So we are trying to get a group together to talk about what we can do to reform these TIF projects, to try to get some of the money back into the government where it belongs and back into the schools. This is directly coming out of the school budgets, out of the library budgets, even out of the police budgets. All this money is going into development, and about half of the money since the program began has gone to private organizations. And there are things, there's several really big things that we hear about that are just total boondoggles where they've given a lot of money, and there are also small programs too where they've just given money away to businesses. And this is another way that we're getting the corporate, we're getting taxes going to corporate, financial interests. So we're having a meeting on Thursday at 11:30 at the Cultural Center. At 11:30 in the morning at the Cultural Center, Randolph in Michigan, and we hope that anybody interested will come and help us organize. We want to start first with a forum to find out more about TIFs and introduce each other to all the various aspects of it, and then to work on reforming it. There was a TIF ordinance that went into City Council for reforming that got all the way up into the council this June and was tabled. So what we need to do is to look at that ordinance and see if it was any good, maybe resurrect it, change it, maybe even lobby for a new ordinance of our own. When Emmanuel first came into office, he was talking, or he had made signs that he wanted some of the money that is in the TIFs right now to be transferred over to the schools. He was talking about as much as $50 million. And but that just never happened. So perhaps if we work on this, we can get something going and get this money that people when they pay their property taxes think it's going to the schools. That's the one thing they always think about. When they pay property tax, they always say, I'm paying for schools. And actually a lot of the money in the neighborhoods, in 1/3 of the neighborhoods, is not going to the schools. It's about 1/6 of the money from the whole city's annual budget is going into the TIF. So we're losing 1/6 of our core annual budget to a TIF program. And the problem with the TIF program is you can't spend it for actual services. You can only spend it for bricks and mortar and things like that. So I hope you all consider joining us. I'll pass out a sheet if you don't want to come to the meeting or can't. We'll keep you informed of what what's going on with the TIF, putting this ordinance together to change it, or what other plans we'll get going. So I'll pass that around and hope you all sign up. And thank you very much.